Purushotthamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato. We are in the slopes of Rishyamukha mountain, where Hanuman has brought Rama and Lakshmana to meet with Sugriva, and we have had the joy of seeing the great pledge of friendship of Rama and Sugriva. As we continue into the narration of conversations that took place between Rama and Sugriva, just as a kind of a pleasant diversion, if one may, we will just see a little bit, not too much, a few minutes of some of the stories of the origin of Hanuman. Then we will come back here. Because Hanuman he is a unique character in consciousness of Indian culture. They say that you can go to, there is no village you will find where there is not a Hanuman temple. There may be no other temple, but there will be either one Pullayar temple and one Hanuman temple will be there. Hanuman is unique. That he is Anjana's son, there is no disagreement in any of the scriptures. But variously he is Kesari, he is Vayuputra. And of course he is an aspect of Shiva, aspect of Nandi, many different stories. There is one which says that when Shiva, after the Sagara Mathana, he of course drank the hala poison. But then it required also the charms of Mahavishnu to complete the great event, because he had to distract the Asuras from collecting the Amrita, and he took on the form of Mohini. So this Mohini form is what left them entranced, and they forgot the entire business of taking the Amrita. So Shiva apparently wanted to see this form of Mohini. So he went to Vishnu and said, "You must show me that form." What was that? So he showed. So Shiva was so enamored by that form of Mohini, apparently, that the creative impulse that happened, then the Saptarishis willed it, that Vayu should take it and give it to Anjana, who is doing tapasya in the forest, praying with the aim that she bears a child of Shiva. This is one story. Another one is in Ananda Ramayana. Anjana is doing tapasya. Her tapasya, she wants to bear Shiva itself as a child. And by her great tapasya, he promises her that he will be born as the 12th Rudra to her. And then she is to do tapasya for that, and he tells her, you do tapasya with your hands cupped upraised like that. So he is doing tremendous tapasya. Meanwhile, Dasharatha does the Putra Kameshti Yagya, and then the payasam is from the fire is given to them, which he gives to Kausalya and Kaikeyi and Sumitra. The distribution, uneven distribution is done. Then from Sumitra's portion, one hawk comes and takes a little bit of that and goes and drops it on a hill where this lady Anjana is doing tapasya into her hands, and then she drinks that. So, in that sense, therefore, then he is the half brother of Rama himself. He is as much a brother of Rama as Bharata or Lakshmana or Shatrughna. And generally speaking, in North India, the Hanuman Jayanti is celebrated on the Paurnami immediately after Ramanavami. So it will be on Chitra Paurnami. Then there is one interesting story. We'll just keep it short. Some other time we will go into the thoughts that go around it. There is this story that Gautama and Ahalya, do you know they had a son who was the Purohita in Janaka's court. He welcomes, in fact, Rama and Lakshmana who come with Vishwamitra to see the bow, and then they have a lot of discussion. He is introduced to his mother's redeemer. Rama is his mother's redeemer, so he is extremely happy. Now the story goes that Gautama and Ahalya had him as a son, and they had a daughter. That was Anjana. Now when Ahalya had that episode with Indra, when Gautama came back, it was this girl, Anjana, who went and quietly told her father that something happened. Of course, he was very angry, he cursed Ahalya and all that, but meanwhile she managed to curse her daughter, saying, "You sneak." And so she cursed her that she'll become a monkey. She then gave birth later to Hanuman by all the other. That is that story. Of course, in Valmiki Ramayana itself, later in Uttarakandam, it said she is the Apsara named Punjikasthala who was born as Anjana because of a curse, but then to do the God's work, etc. And therefore, there are more actually. In fact, we have not even touched upon who is Kesari. Some other time. But then, therefore, there are different days on which also that Hanuman Jayanti is celebrated in different parts of the India. Here, of course, it is on Margari on the Amavasya day, usually when the Moola Nakshatram coincides, then it is Hanuman Jayanti in Tamil Nadu and some other places in the south. As I said, it is Chaitra Purnima in many places in north. Even in Karnataka, I think they celebrate it on Chaitra Purnima. Karnataka, that part of Hampi being what is supposed to be Kishkinda. Hampi coming from Pampa. Pa becomes Ha there. Also then Chaitra Purnima, Chitra Shukla Ekadashi, that is 2 days after Ramanavami is also celebrated here, so born on Ekadashi. Then there is Kartik Purnima, that full moon of Kartik of the northern calendar, Telugu calendar, so to say. That Kartik Purnima, which is the Purnima of the Kartiki Ekadashi, the Purnima that follows that Purnima. Then Kartika Amavasya, it is also celebrated. Then the Shravana Masam Shukla Paksha Ekadashi and Paurnami. I think around Avani Avatam time. Avani Shravana in the northern calendar. And then Margari, of course, not just the Amavasya, it's also on Shukla Paksha Trayodasi, and then September, October, Ashwin Amavasya also it is celebrated. So many days in many different parts of the country. In fact, yesterday I was seeing a Hanuman idol picture on the net as worshipped by the tribals. Very nice looking Hanuman. So it has percolated into the consciousness of the country far and wide, and as a very energizing character that we can all relate to. So we are where he has brought us. We are with Hanuman and with Lakshmana and Rama when they are meeting Sugriva. The friendship has been struck, pledged, the walk around the fire has happened. All that is over. And we left it last time at this point where it said, Sita Kapindra Kshanada Charana Rajiva Hemajwalanopamani Sugriva Rama Pranaya Prasange Bhamani Netrani Samam Spuranti. We left it at the last time, we left the story with the fluttering of eyelids. There were three people whose left eyelids fluttered when Rama and Sugriva had struck that friendship. One was Sita, who was in captivity. The other was Ravana, who was in Lanka. The third was Vali. The theme being that the fluttering of the left eyelid for a man is a bad omen, for a woman it's a good omen. So that scene, Valmiki just painted that quickly as the last verse. But that means it's a defining moment. The Sugriva Rama friendship is a defining moment. We start from there now. So Sugriva told Rama, this minister of mine, Hanuman, has told me why you have come to this unpeopled forest. He has told me about the kidnapping of your wife, about the killing of Jatayu, how the evil Rakshasa did all this. And I can see the great grief that you are in. I can assure you that you shall be free of this grief very soon. I shall bring her back and restore her to you. Wherever she may be in the nether worlds or she may be in the heavens. Just as the Vedas were lost and they were recovered, likewise, Sita will be recovered. Be assured, Rama, I speak the truth. Your wife can no more be appropriated by anyone else. Even if he is backed by Indra or by any of the Asuras, no more than someone can digest poisoned food. Cease grieving, O Rama of mighty arm, I shall bring back your spouse. Anumanat tu janami, Maithili sa na shamshaya, Hriyamana maya drishta rakshasa krura karmana, Kroshanti Rama Rameti Lakshmaneti Viswaram Spuranti Ravanasyanke Pannagendra Vadhur Yatha. Anumanat tu janami. I know by inference that I have seen Maithili. Of that actually I have no doubt. Although it's only an inference, I have no doubt at all that it was Maithili that I saw. Nasamshaya. I saw her being carried away by a cruel Rakshasa. And she was screaming, Kroshanti, Rama Rameti, Rama, Rama, she was shouting. Lakshmana, she was shouting, Viswaram, wailing, and she was writhing in his grasp, like would a mate of the king of serpents. The king of serpents, queen, the first queen of the king of serpents, if somebody catches and holds, the way it will writhe, she was writhing. And I saw her shout. Seeing me seated on the mountainside along with 4 of my ministers, she threw down her upper garment and beautiful jewels. We have taken them and we have kept them safe. I shall bring them to you. You should be able to recognize them. He tells Rama. Rama says, fetch them quick. Why this delay? Kimartham pravilambase. Well, Rama is overjoyed to hear this. Welcome news. He said, get it quick. Sugriva then quickly, he got up. He entered the cave. That cave was very difficult to access. You can't notice where the entrance is. It's like that. He probably has to jump 40 feet and then go inside somewhere. He goes in and then he returns with carefully bringing a garment along with some jewels, and he keeps it in front of Rama saying, this one.